Hey everybody, welcome back to another weekly reading. Today we're going to be taking a look at the dates of September 29th, that's Monday, to October 5th, that's Sunday. But as you guys know, these readings are timeless and signless, so you don't have to be watching at any specific time. You don't have to watch at the time that I post this video, and you don't have to have any significant placements at all or any beliefs about anything at all to receive messages. Okay. I've already called in the big gun, so to speak. I've already blessed the space and I've already set the intention that anyone who comes to give and receive blessings, as I like to say, for alignment, right? Who comes to give and receive blessings will be blessed and will be safe during the transmission of this message. Now, the reason why I say that, just as a pro tip, is because always remember that when we tap into videos and things that we watch on screen, like anywhere in the cyberspace, so to speak, those are portals, right? And you always want to make sure that you are watching and basically tuning into things safely, because just by you tuning in to watch this lovely video, right, you are in the space with my energies and whatever's going on over here. You're in the space with the energies of the content, the frequencies of the video, the messages coming through. You're in the space of the other viewers who are watching and who are in the potential to watch, right? And their stuff, God knows. So it's always important to be responsible. And one of the things that we need to learn as we move into this lovely age of information, this Aquarius age, is personal responsibility. And I believe it was the last video that I put out. And I think it was either a channeled message or it was the weekly message. Either way, they're both channeled messages, right? I don't even know why I entitle anything with weekly and astro signs. It's just channeled messages. But you know how we roll, guys. You know how it is. But the message that was coming through there is that you are the steward of your own health and well-being. And at this current level of perspective, where we still believe in the linearity and the physicality of this earth plane, and we don't remember who we are and what that entitles us to be and to have and to do and to experience, and also not understanding how your very self-concept, in other words, your I am definition, your definition of what you believe yourself to be, your I am self concept, is what directs your experience here in the physical, right? People don't understand that. We're all still kind of moving towards understanding that in a visceral way and really understanding it to a point where we start to apply it. And because we don't understand that, then it becomes very important to always keep these messages coming through uh, about being more, let's say, of a steward of your health and well-being, being cautious, learning as much as you can about your energy field. All right, so that being said, let's jump into what messages want to come through. And just for anyone who wants to know, I don't know if I know a lot of people do astro and depending on how deeply you run charts and understand. Sorry, I'm trying to channel and shuffle and and talk the conscious mind. How much you run charts and stuff. Just for the time, I forgot to tell you what time it started. But anyway, for the time it is now as I'm talking, it is 5:27 p.m. PDT on Sunday, September 28th. And it's interesting because just as I said that, I felt the energy just go, like all of us, like go diagonally somewhere else to like a whole nother timeline. So where did we go? Right? Where did we go? Revelation, a deeper understanding comes from spirit. Now it's interesting because what they're saying, maybe that's why I had to announce the time that right before. See, I learn things too, guys. I'm learning just as much as you guys are when I channel, because I feel like we just went into I guess timeline. They're saying time phrase, timeline. Anyway, and I guess to translate that for us, it would be like going into a classroom somewhere, a breakout room. If we're on a Zoom, we went into a breakout room. We went into a designated learning space. Get it? I love it. A deeper understanding comes from spirit. Okay. And of course, we will all be returned to our regularly scheduled programming once we're done with this message. Now, let's talk it out. I was just wondering, why is it that we have been shifted into another space? Is it because it always happens and I just happen to be able to perceive of it at this time and relay it to you guys for a specific reason? Maybe some of you needed to hear it for whatever reason. Or is it because uh there are messages that need to come through that are, I'm getting, yeah, maybe this is it, maybe a little bit of both, that are time sensitive. And when I say time sensitive, it's almost like an encoding, like privacy here in this space. Because if we were to talk about it back in time where we're outside of time right now, just so you know, back where we were, it could have been just compromised in some sense, right? It doesn't matter why. We don't need to jump into that. Jump in, see what they're saying? We don't need to jump back into there. Let's stay here. Pinnacle, you're approaching your limit and close to the end. Now, with this, I'm also seeing that not only did we go into an alternate space for the purposes of having this discussion, but we've also elevated our what's the word, perspective, but our locate, not even space, because yeah, time's like our point of observation, we have elevated it so that we can look down on, not in a negative way, but look upon, there it is, look down upon where we usually are. And that's always kind of what we want to do. You always want to do that so that you can get a greater perspective of what's happening. And from this perspective where we are, I'm seeing that there are some cycles that are coming to an end. It's funny because I'm seeing 65. It's shifting so much, but almost like 65 of your bodies. That kind of brings me back to, like, I'm seeing you guys as all little spheres, cute, 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 like little Venn diagrams because you're overlapping each other now. And they're like a class, like a class. Yeah, that makes sense. And that brings me back to what we had said. Remember, and I'm delivering this message, but I don't want to say some of you may be perceiving of energies dropping in for you, because I'm feeling it coming in to me and through me for you. So as you know, when we're channeling, we're also creating downloads. And that's why when you're in this space with me, it's like a conduit so that you may receive, right? Now, as that's happening, some of you may feel it. You may feel some tingling in your feet, a little sluggishness happening, maybe a little drowsiness, whatever. Just roll with it. Don't worry. It's just, where do you want it, boys? It's coming into your energy field, and just trust that your spirit team is here helping you to pass this energy through, myself included, to you and receive it. Now, while they're doing that, I want to let you know, and they're so kind. They're also going to make any adjustments to your chakras, your spins. Some of you may need some maintenance. They're going to help a little bit with that. It's not like big time maintenance where it's like, wow, thanks for fixing my energy anatomy while you're here. But it's like, well, if we're coming in to deliver something and we scuff up the rug or something, we're to make sure we make the rug new again. Like so don't worry, guys. They're in and out. All right. But while they're doing that, I wanted to say this takes me back, when they say 65, takes me back to something I told you guys a couple months ago. I think it was in July, maybe. And what the guides had told me is that there are going to be souls, so I guess you guys, who are going to be apprenticing with me. Now, conscious mind me, I'm just like, oh, that's news to me. All right, I guess. But you have to understand that we work multidimensionally. So here I am, I'm doing my job at this level, which is to create the conditions through my actions and my intentions for a connection to be able to occur. But there are other aspects of me at higher levels of the field that are working. And if you've had a session with me, then you understand what I mean. And we're all just kind of like, right? And so, yes, thank you. They're saying that the drop off has been made. So some of you guys will feel it, and some of you may not. It's okay. It has happened. They're going to be returning us back to our timeline, which, I can't remember the time it was, but we're going to go back into, it doesn't matter the time, we're going to go back into where we were now that you've received it. And I do feel that the information and whatever it was that was brought through is going to be unfolding for you, the viewer, for the next 3 weeks. Okay. So I do want to, before I continue what I was saying, and hopefully I can remember what I was saying, I do want to say that some of you may experience, because it is energy energy coming into your field, right? It's your own wisdom, by the way. It's your higher energy, higher wisdom that is being downloaded into your energetic vessel. Now, because you have this higher frequency coming into your field, I do want to remind you that you may have some upset stomach for some of you. I'm feeling, I'm already starting to feel like my solar plexus, especially. Yeah, no, anyway, yeah. So I was going to say, especially if you're, but that doesn't seem, I was going to say if you're having a, no, I can't even get the words out because it's so, whatever I was just about to say so doesn't apply to any of you as I'm feeling it, that it's not even able to come through. So that's good. But anyway, yes, so some of you, I'm getting teeth chattering for somebody here, and that's to be distinguished from teeth grinding, because some of you, I'm getting maybe three of you, may have an issue with grinding your teeth. Oh, thank you. They're like, you're back in your body, Jay. Okay, and I could feel myself back in my body. Look at how my voice is now getting more bubbly, like, ah. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I don't even know where that came from. Anyway, just to show you, we have different levels. But so we're back in, boys. Thanks, guys. So it's safe to move around your cabin now, guys. But anyway, as I was saying, is that, see, like, hold on, let me let my upper chakras get back into alignment here. Hold on. Okay. All right. It's like, you know what it's like? It's once I was popped out here, I didn't realize, but I was moving so fast, so quickly, vibrating quickly, which makes sense because, see, my voice is still like, my vocal cords, everything is still aligning to here and now. But when we go higher up into the energy field, we vibrate much faster, right? It's a faster vibration. That's why when we're sluggish and in a low mood, depressed mood, it's much harder to connect with your higher guides and your higher self and your higher angels and stuff, because you're too low. So we always want to, anyway, so do your best with the mood control. But anyway, that's why as we drop back into the field, back closer to this physical plane, right, the body has to readjust. Anyway, so what I was saying, I was giving you the symptoms some of you may be feeling. Thanks, everybody. Yay, they're so great. They're so great. Let's take a moment and thank our spirit team. I said thanks. Somebody like thanks. Anyway, thanks, guys. Unsung heroes for real. But yes, some of you may. I wanted to distinguish between the teeth grinding because I was getting that about three of you out of that 65 that I was just addressing will be experiencing teeth grinding. Maybe that's just what you experience as a general symptom. Now, I don't want you to think when I said teeth chattering as a result of the energies that will be fluctuating in your field as a result of you bringing in these higher energies and it kind of kicking up your lower frequency energies. Don't think that the teeth chattering was about you because you're having teeth grinding, right? Don't be like, oh, that's me, right? So anyway, just a distinction. Some of you may have issues with your nails. If you have issues with your nails, like one day you look down at your nail bed and you're like, whoa, what's that? Don't worry. That is no cause for alarm. Like it's not, like it's just sometimes we see things because our vision, our third eye is a little bit compromised or in flux because of the flow of energies. We understand this. If we're feeling sensitive, for example, I'd say it like that. If you're feeling sensitive about something, maybe you've had cheating in your past and now your husband is like working with a new coworker, you're going to project onto the relations that you see them. They're literally just talking about the next like meeting and you're like, oh my God, they're getting each other's numbers. That's a quick example of how your vision is compromised because of what's going on in your energy field. Your traumas may be active, for example, there. And that's a segue into letting you know, reminding you that these energies that were received, it's going to kick up your stuff, and your stuff is going to possibly, if you're not careful, overwhelm you. So as we know, anytime we receive high energies, it's also full moon, isn't it? You guys know full moons, they get me. But anyway, if your stuff is popping up, you really want to exercise mindfulness, and you don't want to just think you're seeing clearly whatever it is that you're looking at. So it may be to the point where you look at your nails and you see whatever is going on there. You think you see something and it causes you alarm. And then you're like, oh my God, I have this illness and that illness, WebMD. And it just spirals out unnecessarily. So that's why I'm your girl, Jay, your favorite jelly bean, is here to am here, excuse me, to give you the heads up about what you may expect as you receive these energies. All right. Now, I'm not getting any dietary restrictions as a result of this energy coming in, because sometimes when energies come in, it always hits the body in a certain your energetic channels, your nadis, your meridians, all of that, and then eventually those impact or impress themselves upon your hormones and all that, and gets into your physical body, blah blah blah. It's a whole thing. Right? It's a whole thing that happens. And sometimes you do have to be very mindful about what you're eating, and you may actually notice your taste change, and your certain things will appeal to you. You may get cravings, this and that. It's only because of the flux of energy coming in and hitting your field, and it creates a temporary distortion in your field that you experience for some of you experience it in change in diet and taste and things like that. Well, what I'm getting here is, if you are experiencing that, it has nothing to do with this energy that's coming in, because I'm in your fields. I'm looking at your fields. Again, I'm getting about 65 of you. It's very specific that this message was for. It doesn't even have to be 65 of you watching at this time, because I have been told that a lot of these messages will be found by people like even 6 years. I heard 6 years in the future at one point. So, but I'm feeling potentially you guys here. And so just want to let you know, God bless you. Okay. Anyway, clear vision. Look, get a new perspective so you don't miss anything. Overview, watch, help. That's literally what we just did when we stepped out of time and space to have that delivery received and a bridge to you. And now look, the bridge, cute. Wealth, the bridge, look, the clear vision so it can be brought to you. And boop, there you are, cutely as a cute little frog. Oh my God, so cute. And then look, and then receiving it, opening to profound spiritual experience. We out here, guys. Okay. So it was my pleasure to assist. Interesting. Look, freedom, the little bird, little me assisting. Little me, the little human me, yeah, assisting. God is good. And always remember, everything that we do that is good, everything that you experience that is good, is because of God. So anytime you want to say thank you to somebody for anything, even yourself, especially yourself, you make sure that you get those double thanks to God. Okay. Now, let's continue on with the messages. Let's switch sides, is what I'm getting. Switch sides. Shelter, you're being kept safe and secure always. Trust sanctuary. Okay. Sanctuary. No, I just laughed because when I read that, because I was thinking, switch sides. Are we going to the dark side? Where are we? And it's interesting because as we look at this, we don't know where we're looking. Are we coming from above and looking down at a river? Or are we in some type of enclave between two massive rock structures looking up at the sky? We don't know. Now, here we are. Let's talk a little bit about vision. We see this here. We have this question. What am I even looking at? And you don't know sometimes whether you're looking at something that is dark or whether it's light. We don't know whether we're looking at something that has value or whether it's valueless. We don't know whether we're looking at something that extends all the way up to the most high, meaning the highest frequency, right? Or whether it's not. In other words, we don't know what we're looking at any given time. And the reason why is because dun, 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 you forgot what you are. You cannot know upon which you look, upon which you view, right? You can't know what you're looking at. In other words, you can't observe the other. You can't look at a point and make reflections and come to conclusions of it that are valid in any way unless you can even understand the self. And as we know with 2-point perspective, where there's one point and it's just is, because there's no point of comparison. So you can't say, oh, I'm tall or I'm short or that over there or blah, 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 because it's just one point. There's no reflection. There's no language. There's no nothing. It's just isness. It's oneness. It's just nothing. right? No words, no, what would you remark about? What would you use to make remarks about, right? And so when you get 2 points, 2 point perspective, now you can reflect. Well, no, actually, you're not reflecting. Let's say you can observe. That's the most that you can do. You can observe and you can say, oh, over there. And this is where we find what we can consider very spiritually immature people, right? Where we find, and we also understand this in our early stages of childhood development, where it's like, I, you, and we see this in pathology with all the blaming. We all know people in life who it's never their fault. They struggle with reflection. They cannot see themselves, right? Because there's so much doing this. You did this, you did this, you did this. And if you've been following my channel, it's such a pleasure to have you here. You know that we've been beating this drum, not to death yet, but we've been beating the drum of being mindful in this day and age, because it's a very reactive collective that we have, especially here in the US, where the US in general is a very spiritually immature space. Okay, it really, really is. And if you, and you will notice this by the structure of it, it's very dualistic, very dualistic. And everything is you, something happens, we're popping off. It's a tinderbox, right? Now, in a sense, you can look upon spaces like this and other spaces around the world where it's just really that kind of mentality as a little bit of a forefront, at the forefront of action, because it's a space where there's so much, back and forth going. But at some point, as with any war, at some point, maturity takes place and you start to realize, life and the world is not a battlefield. And that metaphor applies not only to the real thing, like figurative, like for reals, but it applies figuratively to how you approach relationships, to how you approach your voting, to how you approach buying clothes, to how you approach negotiating for that parking spot, about how you approach that post that you just read, right? It's just about how you choose whether to have salad or a pizza tonight, right? It's a mindset, right? But it's all about the external. And when you're in this dualistic space and everything is pointed outward, there is no reflection. And where there's no reflection, there's no growth. And there's just suffering and there's just strife. And we would understand this to be, even if we apply it to psychologically speaking, the maturation of the human mindset, we see that as immature. Okay. And we understand that to be the case when we look at one's spiritual maturity as well. It's all external. But here's the thing. Eventually, when you start to mature, is when you start to realize, I don't have to be on the battlefield. And that comes after you have a realization like, there's more than a battlefield. There are other places than what I'm seeing. There are other experiences. There are other perspectives, right? And so the reason why you can have that reflection, that little bit of openness to be like, oh, there's another way, is because you have now somehow moved from two perspectives to a third perspective. When you have a third perspective, that's what we saw here. Well, this is probably like 10 million perspectives. I don't know, right? An alternate perspective is higher than the others that were there. And so therefore you can look down. So from a third point of perspective, you can not only look at the self, you can look at the other, right? And you can make observations about the two. And you can reflect. Like, is this is happening, that is happening, this thinks that. You can reflect and imagine what you can do when you bring fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, all the way up perspectives. At some point, my friends, you start to realize, oh, it's not just two, and it's not just you. It's, and eventually you start to realize, oh, there are more. But eventually you will start to realize, oh, it's all me. Me. I'm the one. I'm the two. I'm the three. I'm the four. I'm the five. I'm the six. I'm the seven. I'm the. It's all me. And to even have that recognition of, let's hear it. It's the old word. Oneness is a super high level of perspective. And that's what we're moving towards. See this here? Look at us, little bird. Up here, you got to be way up to realize, oh, it's all one. It's all one. And so this is why when we say that there are certain things that are of man and not divine, it's always because it's a level of perspective from which you're viewing. So when going back to what we were saying earlier, anytime you want to look upon anything and you want to question anything and you want to blame anything, because we're big about personal responsibility here, right? You always should understand that you should ask yourself, well, what perspective am I viewing this from? Okay. And it makes absolute sense because depending on the level of perspective from and the level of perception from which you're viewing something, you will either see yourself as a victim or you will reveal the reality that no one is a victim. Very hard to understand, I get it. But you'll understand that this and that can be true. Why? Because this and that, 2 points, are not all there is. This and that are true simply because you are viewing from a higher perspective and you can see more, and then you start to see how things are put in motion. And then you understand that there are features to this complex working of reality that you can't even yet conceive of because of the perception and perspective of from where you view things. Okay? Now, where exactly are you? First of all, you know what you are. We've said it many times. You are a multidimensional co-creator being. But what are you? You are source. You are all that is. You are the one, and you always have been. You just happen to be having a temporary experience at a different level of perspective. Where? Down here, right? Where's down here? In this dimension. And physicality is a hallmark of this dimension. And so you understand that your consciousness, you're just divine intelligence. That's what you are, period. You're not a body. What's a body? You only experience a body while you're in this plane of existence because physicality is an aspect, it's a feature of this level of experience. In other words, your thoughts have become so strong and so crystallized that you actually have created something around you, and it's a body. But the body is not real. What are you? Your spirit, your divine intelligence. You're higher than the soul. The state of oneness, all of that is spirit. But as it differentiates and comes down in through the dimensions, it's soul. And then that further fragments down into this level, we have body, right? But please understand that you are much more than you believe. And so why that is very important is because if your goal, which I'm just going to say from my level of perspective, when I read in the field and we go high and blah, 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 in the energy field and I view things, your goal is to evolve. it's to clear your frequency so that you can expand, so that you can take on more of your own self, your own divine self. Now, from a higher perspective, God does not see, and I'm talking about the most high version of God, right? The highest perspective of God. Because here we are, we have the God within too, but we down here. So we're not seeing much. When we talk about the most high, we're talking about the aspect of God, the level of frequency and expansion of God that is all the way up there. When that when that version, when that God looks down upon us, it doesn't see multiple, it sees one. Why? Because there is only one. There is not many. There's no Janelle. There's no Patty. There's no Florist. I don't know who Florist is, but cute, cute name. But down here, inside of itself, and source, inside of source, because there's nowhere to go. Where would you go, right? Inside of all there is just fragment, 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 fractal, 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 fractal. There is the false appearance of many. And as you spiritually mature and you start to clear your vision, you work through the false beliefs that you're carrying in your consciousness, which is what gives rise to the blockages in your energy field, which then becomes carbon copy material, blueprint material for the carbon copy that is your body to have all those ailments and those accidents. And, I had a cylindrical glass instead of a bulbous one, right? All of that plays out in your physical, right? But it's just your consciousness being made physical. Why? Because we're in a physical plane. Your consciousness didn't become a cartoon because we're not in a world, we're not in a plane where it's cartoonified. We're in a plane where it's physical. And so therefore, you, all your glory, which is spirit, all the way down here, physical. Now, the way to evolve and the way to get into alignment, the way to be at your best is to recognize what you are once again. You see this crooked path here? When we ask, God's good, when we ask to make God to make crooked paths straight, what we are asking is, please, believe, show me how to align with myself, because it is yourself, your own frequencies, your spirit, your soul, your wisdom, your expansiveness that is being choked off from where you are right now. Why? Because of the stuff you're carrying. That's why your friendly local healers, hi, who love you, are here to assist you with understanding your beliefs, right? So if you've had a session with me, you understand that yes, we definitely do heavy energy work. We do etheric surgery. We do a lot of that. We do gift bringing in, we call it gifts, right? Bring in your own self, right? We do a lot of that. But counseling is a major component of it. That's why I offer the one-to-one Zoom counseling. And even with the distance energy healing, I record that so you can get the counseling aspect, but it won't be live, right? And the reason why is because we understand that, yes, we can tend to the energy bodies. And that is a big thing because that's preventative medicine, right? It's more, the root of it is, the root is actually in your consciousness, but based on your consciousness and your beliefs, it will create structures, make structures in the energetic anatomy. So when we work in the energetic anatomy to create and institute changes, basically clearing stuff and mending and all of that stuff, it's closer to the root than it is doing the physical body. When you work in the physical body because you have physical ailments, yes, that's great, we need it, but it's not going to heal it. It's just going to alleviate symptoms. When you view it from a higher perspective, it's just alleviating symptoms. That's all it is. And you come back in another lifetime and you will develop again because you haven't healed the root of it. So yes, if you have stuff in your physical body and your mind and all your psychology and all that, you must go to people at that level of the field to have assistance with that. But you also would benefit from working with your energy practitioners so that they can assist you at an energetic level. Of course, if you have psychological disturbances, definitely work with at the physical level with that with your psychologist, because to work in the energy field is going to rearrange things. It's going to kick things up for you, and it's going to, you need to be of sound mind in order to really do the organizing and the mindfulness work and the processing that you need. But also, it's in the level of the consciousness or the subconscious, right? I'm saying consciousness, but I'm using the term differently from, anyway, the root is there, it's in your belief system. So that's why the counseling is used to help you to shift your understanding of something. Because as we said in the last video, think of it like a hanger, right? The hanger is the energetic structure and the belief, all of that. The clothing will be the physical. The physical cannot be there. The mental disturbance cannot be there. The shirt cannot hang up if there is no hanger. And so when we remove things from the energy field and mend it and all of that, it helps to alleviate whatever is going on, but you would still need your assistance from your physical space, but you will have knocked that out. But here's the thing, unless you change the belief, the core belief, unless you heal that, you will continue to make structures in your energetic field, and that those structures will continue to impress upon your etheric body and to manifest in your physicality. So understand that it is your consciousness, it is your I am self concept that you hold that just precipitates down through your energy field. So when we talk about integrative healing, holistic healing, multidimensional healing, we're talking about whole body healing. And when you understand that you're not your physical body, notice that I usually say you're not just the body, but we out here. Let's call it even more clearly. You're not a body. You think you're a body, but it is that very same mind that we are living lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and working very diligently at. Great job, you guys. Great job, Janelle, right? To correct. Because if you don't have those corrections in place, you will come back down here to continue to work at it. And it's a blessing to do that, yes, but it sucks. Just kidding. No. Just kidding. Just kidding, God. Just kidding. Anyway, it takes time, right? But if you're hearing this message, then the message is for you, and you are at a I was going to say, you're at a time and space in your soul's experience where you can have this journey. Now, you're already on this journey. Now, speaking of, did I see journey? Yeah, journey. You're already on this journey. I'm not telling you guys something that you don't know. And if it is new for you, then yay, right? I'll do my best to explain it. What else there's so many things I want to come through, and I'm just trying to put it all together. Hold on. Mm. And so, anyway, as we just saw, thoughts are things, the beliefs that you hold cycle down into your physicality, right? And we come back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime in order to chip away at stuff. But it's always important to understand that while you're down here, you don't want to get lost in the sauce. It's super dupes easy to get lost in the sauce. And getting lost in the sauce means that you forgot what you are, your spirit. You are divinely provided for. You are a multidimensional co-creator being. You are sovereign. And even though you may struggle, all of us, to understand viscerally what that means, you don't have to live blindly. You can understand and cultivate a practice of working within spiritual law because you're a spirit. Spiritual, as a spirit, you're not actually bound by the laws of man and the institutions and the physical and all this. Yeah, you may transition out of this lifetime and blah, blah, blah. But whatever you do down here that is in violation of spiritual law, you will have to come back and make up for. And whatever you do down here that is in alignment with spiritual law, you will get to experience your evolution and your ascension and your expansion on account of that. In other words, you ain't going nowhere if you're on the wrong track, right? So we want to get you on the right track, the right track. And the right track is the alignment with yourself. You align with yourself by remembering what you are. You're innocent and you're lovely and all of that beautiful stuff. That's the I am self concept you want to cultivate while you're down here. That requires you to have self care. It requires you to forgive yourself. It requires you to give yourself a break. It requires you to self accept. Because if you are self accepting, you are in the I am. And when you say I am, and it's something that is godly, in other words, God sees you as innocent and you live that innocence, you claim that I am abundant, I am love, I am lovable, I am decent. Who was that? Decent. Some of us out here like, can I just believe I'm decent? Yeah, right. I am a kind person. I am blah, 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 whatever. Every time you think those loving thoughts about yourself, you are aligning with your reality. That is what God sees. God sees nothing wrong with you. It's either you seeing what God's seeing, and in which case you're in alignment and you can just receive, or you're seeing something else and you're out of alignment with what God sees. What God sees is the truth, right? So we're here to cultivate vision. And you cultivate vision by getting on the bandwagon of what you really are and proclaiming and living from that place of self acceptance. Your self acceptance is the key. Now, theoretically speaking, why are we even out here with the self acceptance, Jay? Blah, blah, blah. People are this, people are that, blah, blah. Listen, who's people? You people. And that's a great example of how you don't remember who you are. Because until you understand that oneness, until you elevate yourself to a level of perspective where you can recognize more of yourself and be like, oh, maybe I am everything. Maybe I am, maybe. And then eventually, oh, I am. Oh, until you're there, you're going to see many. Why do you think Spirit was out here a long time ago giving us the golden rule? What does the golden rule say? Do unto others as you would have done unto you. It means nothing to people these days, but an old adage, right? Or as I like to say, adage, right? But it's so spiritually sound. Why? And why can't you see it? Because you forgot the missing link. The missing link is the energetic understanding of how your self concept relates to your physicality, which I'm telling you right now, right? The reason why you do unto others as you do unto you is because everybody is you. And so what you put out there, you're going to get back. If not this lifetime, other lifetimes. If you want to align with God, if you want to be godly, if you want to whatever, you have to be that. And that's when you start to wonder, well, I know this universe is one where it doesn't care what I'm saying. It only reacts or responds to the vibration I put out. They were like, victim. I heard them. So what they're trying to say, and you guys know, like I said, they've been calming for this victim consciousness on this channel. They want all the smoke from it. Okay. The team's gonna get that smoke and roll it up. They want it because they want you to get rid of the victim consciousness. If the key literally to your entire existence and your health and well-being on this planet boils down to literally what you think about yourself to be true. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I woke up today, I'm beautiful and this and that. I'm talking about in your subconscious level, in your core beliefs, in the way that you carry yourself, in the way that you respond and react to everything. You may think, oh, but it's hard, Jay. No, you're doing it. You're just beating the drum of a definition that is not what you want it to be. Most people, if not 99.9 people on this planet, because obviously this is a school, so we're here working on it, right? We're works in progress. They're out here with that victim consciousness. I'm a victim. It's time to shake that off. You've been working at this, right? Keep going, but bring your conscious mind into it. You're at a level now where you can really cultivate that practice. This is not This these thoughts, this wisdom is no longer left for the hermetic schools, right? It's no longer left for these occultists and all this and hidden away in apocrypha and all, all that, right? It's out here, free 99. We're telling you, change your self concept because it is your own belief in your version of the world. There are many versions, there are many universes, there are many worlds. Everybody thinks they're in the new world or new earth. Everyone's in a different vibration, a different whatever. So the Janelle you were talking to, because I'm talking to you guys, the Janelle you were chatting with, or you were listening to when you started this video, not the same Janelle, because in every moment you are a new person. And so stop giving your life away by believing that you are trapped in any one version of what? You. You're the version that changes. Nothing is linear. It appears to be linear because every now moment you are choosing to have the same version. But if you could see all, if you were omniscient, you would see that, oh my God, every now moment actually has its own signature. It's actually different. Sometimes it's so different that you'll be like, oh, wow, in this version, Janelle only has one hand, right? But obviously, you're not jumping that much. You're not jumping that far and wide. It's too much for your mind to jump, right? To believe, because you navigate reality by way of your beliefs. About what? About the world? No, about yourself. So you can sit here and be on the battlefield and believe yourself to be trapped in something. You're only trapped by your inability to believe, your inability to expand, your inability to dream. We can't hold your inability to conceive, right, against you. It's like holding someone's lack of wisdom or someone's age against them. Oh, they're 8. Hello, they're not going to know something they're going to know at 62, right? We can't blame them for the lack of wisdom there. So we can't blame ourselves for things we don't know. In other words, we can't blame ourselves for the inconceivable. But guess what? Even just softening your ideas about what you think you know does you miraculous wonders for being open to the inconceivable presenting itself to you. Because guess what? If you are so stuck with what you believe you know, what you think you know, what you're certain about, it's your own certainty that closes the door to spirit really giving you, because you're showing up to the universe and with a cute little cup, cute, and saying, please for some more, right? In your cute little Oliver Twist voice. And spirit's like, oh, looks like we're giving them carrots again today because they're out here with this baby bowl. I'm trying to give them, some ham hocks, and I don't know, what are people eating these days? Anybody want ham hocks? I don't know. We're trying to give them a whole smorgasbord. We've got this whole banquet hall here we're trying to give them. They keep coming here with this. Why? Well, the advisor leans over and says, oh, well, they think they're going off their past, and they think that, they're still holding a cup, and they don't realize yet that they can use their own mind to envision something new in their hands, or to envision a tractor pulling, a bed to carry something big, right? They don't realize, they can't conceive that they could have more than a bowl of something. Oh, that's right, because they've forgotten who they are. They keep thinking they're this fragmented version with a body and a brain and DNA at the physical level. They don't realize yet that they're spirit. And because they're spirit, they have no barriers. That's why Jelly Bean and Janelle can sit here and introduce healing, from her own room, because she understands she's not a body. So she's working multidimensionally to effect change in the physical, right? This is what they want you to realize. Realize what you are. When you realize what you are, you realize, oh, shoot, everything changes. This is what divine providence is. Because God from the highest perspective, when it looks down on us, it doesn't see us, it sees one. It's For some of you, you may say it's the sun, S-O-N. That's it, right? Some of you may have other discursive words. It's just discourse. Semantics is just the one because the vision is clear from that perspective. And when you understand that you are just one, of course, your definitions that you think to be true from this perspective, change. If there's just one, there's no lack. Everything is here and everything is now, and I have access to everything. There's no barrier, there's no distortion. It just is. And I'm given everything. Everything is possible. And I've been denied nothing because there's no separation. Everything is here. So if you can start to move from that mindset and operate down here in that way, you will do yourself wonders. You will really put yourself in a good track because you will be living in alignment with spiritual law. Spiritual law says everything is one. So if everything is one, then you start questioning, you're scratching your head. You're like, dude, down here at this level of the field, I must really be compromised with my eyeballs, with my third eye, because I'm out here thinking that that is another person and that if I give to them, I lose something. And if I receive from them, they lose something. I think I'm better than them. I think they're better than me. I think I gotta go defend something and I might have to kill somebody. Wayne Brady may have to choke it. You know what I mean? This is what you're thinking, and it's all wrong. And if you want to come back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, getting stuck in that mentality and fighting, who are you fighting? It's just you. This is why we understand there is no spoon. We understand that when it comes time, you don't have to dodge bullets, right? What happened with Neo? Shout out, Neo. What happened? Nothing happened except he died. And then he realized, oh, shoot, I'm still here. And it came for him. That was the moment he needed. He realized, oh, I get it. I was never a body. Now, the thing about it is you don't want to wait till you transition back home and you're like, I could have listened. There was time then, right? Shout out, right? It's not fair, right? So now is the time to create and understand when spiritual truths are spoken to you. Don't dismiss them. You will continue to dismiss them until you start to evolve and you start to realize, wait a minute. It is only one. If I'm truly one, you're going top down. You're not going down up. What does this book say? And what does this leader say? And all that. It's ridiculous. Get rid of it at your own pace. But when you're going down up, you are trying to take something spiritual, cosmic, inconceivable to you yet, and apply it to what you have here. You're like, let me go through the laws that I've learned here in my flawed culture, my flawed mindset, my flawed vision, and understand this or dismiss it because it doesn't make sense. That is going to keep you trapped. Okay, so you must go top down. And top down starts with your reality. What are you? You are oneness personified. Your oneness having a temporary fragmented awareness where you believe that you're Janelle. I'm Janelle. Hey, everybody. My personality. If you got your personalities, if you really stepped outside of time and space and you looked at your personalities over your lifetimes, you would be very surprised. Okay? It's a whole thing outside of this false kind of life that we're living. So if you're watching this video, you're being called to step up. And the quick step up is understand what you are. You are source. What is source? One. And so understand, reflect, take the week and reflect upon it. If I'm actually one, but I'm just seeing many, I understand I have a vision problem. Now, obviously, I've been doing this for lifetime, so I'm working at it. I get it. But what can I do now proactively to really make some change and to start to see this shift in my consciousness be made manifest in my physical space? Well, you move from the top down idea of oneness. If I am one and I am source and I'm just really intact, then that must mean that I actually am not denied anything that is for my health and well being. That means I can ask. That means I'm innocent. That means that I don't have anything to be guilty for. That means it means a lot. It means that God made me and I'm perfect just the way I am. Down here, we are designed to be imperfect so that we may go back to perfection. But you don't have to live in this imperfected, I hate myself state. You understand I'm perfect and therefore I'm innocent. Because if I were not perfect, then I would be, and I'm made in the image and likeness of the creator, we are one, then that must mean that the creator is imperfect. But that don't make no sense, right? So start to chip away at the mindset. If you are perfect, you are limitless, you have command over your reality to a larger degree than you know, than you believe yourself right now, simply by the way you think about yourself. And yes, it may take time to cultivate, but doggone it, you can start now. Then you must understand that what you are is much different from what you now believe yourself to be. Your victim consciousness, your martyrdom consciousness, your poverty consciousness, your false identity politics. What identity? Don't go down those rabbit holes. All you're doing when you label and label and label and this and that. I know in the social space people are doing a thing, but trust me, as your friendly local reader, be careful, right? Because and you keep labeling, all you're saying is I am this, I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that. That is further fragmentation and further devolution downward. Now, some of us have taken on these identities for the sake of assisting others. And if you're watching my videos, then you are part of that class. And when I say class, I mean like the classroom. Remember, we were just doing that. But anyway, you're part of that soul mission. You're here to assist. And we've said it on this channel before. You cannot be of assistance to people in need if you are sharing their belief system. If you're here to help people who have poverty in their poverty consciousness, you may be born into poverty, yeah, financial poverty, but you can't operate from the I am poor mindset because you will just join them at their frequency. No, what good is a therapist if they just believe the hallucinations of their patient? Somebody's got to be above that, and that's what we're here to do. So if you watch these videos, we're here to help introduce corrections into the perception, into the consciousness that you carry, so that you can, have the clarity within. The crooked space is made straight so that you can then head out into the world and help others without being dragged down. Okay. So anyway, this week, be ready to be led further by your specific spirit team. Look, guys, don't play. Look at this. Look at this. Corn. Didn't I talk about corn? I was totally thinking about corn earlier. Let your spirit team help you with the restructuring. God bless you. If you'd like to work more personally with me, you know exactly where to find me. We're in the same place on Etsy. Mwah. Bye, guys. Love you. Stay clear.